Can you talk into your
microphone? You're loud. Everyone's hearing you right now. The mics are loud. Mics are loud. 3, 2.
Go. Hi, I'm Gage, and this is me before the sweat tour. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's Clint's girlfriend. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. My name's Luke Radowski here of the best politicalshow.com, and we will be going live for the next 2 hours discussing all the latest and craziest news developing right now, as of course there never is a shortage of things to talk about these days, as Trump has just opened up a major lead against Kamala Harris, as there's new information coming to light right now about the Trump assassination attempt that makes the authorities look that much worse. McDonald's just dropped a new bombshell on Kamala, as there's a lot of Diddy news that we're going to be talking about in this particular independent media. So please share this broadcast with your friends and family members. It really does mean a lot when you just double click the URL and you send it out there. It's one of the few ways that these videos actually get out there to the general public. And if it wasn't for you guys doing that, we wouldn't be here. And to show our appreciation for you, you guys could be also a part of the show just by simply signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. When you do that, you get access to a Telegram chat that I am inside of right now. That, of course, I am talking to you guys as this podcast is going on. You guys tell me if the audio is messed up. You guys tell me if you want me to talk about specific things. And then you guys also get the ability to call into the show, which I think is really cool. We love having the members call-in segment. You could be that member that calls in later on today just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. And to show our generosity to the members, we give out free products. We have Joshua's and Brian's packages that we are literally going to be mailing. Can you see this thing? Hold on. Do the wide cam stuff. My hands are a little bit busy now, but that's the far one. Zoom out. Do the wide one stuff. So yeah, we're sending out free gifts to the members who, of course, signed up and are a part of this broadcast from wearechange.shop. We're going to be doing our best to read any and all super chats during this conversation, but of course, we will be prioritizing the Streamlabs with the link down in the description below. Joining us for today's conversation is Preston Para. Preston, for the people who don't know you, who are you and how would you introduce yourself?
I'm an influencer online. I do a lot of social media stuff. We just started a PAC called Conservative PAC. I do a lot of stuff in politics, very America first, very pro-Trump. We
had a very fascinating conversation last time you were here. We were definitely at odds at certain things, but we kept it very civil, which is really awesome, which we always hope to strive to present different kind of points of view. And then, hey, we disagree, we'll do it in a respectful manner where we're able to, of course, talk it out. So thank you for coming back. I bet there's going to be some people that are going to be really happy and some that are going to be a little triggered. But
I'm happy to be here. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for coming here. Martha Bueno also is joining us. Martha, who are you?
Yo, what's up? Hi, everyone. I'm Martha Bueno, and I'm a political commentator and sometimes here on your show, Luke.
Always great to have you.
Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. You got a new addition to your family recently, which we might debut on this show in a little bit.
We
might get Atlas a little jealous, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. Yep. Tatiana Moroz, singer, songwriter, extraordinaire, also in the house.
Yeah, Tatiana Moroz. I make music. I also have been very active in Bitcoin since 2012. And I also have an event that I've been telling everybody about that this team here is going to be at called The Counterparty. So go to thecounterparty.com, January 25th to 26th. And Unfiltered members still have a special code. So if you guys want to get a free ticket to the conference, you should join the group.
What's the website again?
thecounterparty.com.
Awesome. And then Mike Benz is going to be there. A bunch of other cool people are going to be there. Mike Benz is going to be here Wednesday. Mm-hmm. I think tomorrow we also have a special guest, Martha.
Yep, we have Cliff Maloney from Chase, Pennsylvania, who's doing amazing work and helping Trump's team win Pennsylvania.
Awesome. And he'll be here tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern as well. Stephanie, who are you?
This is Steph We Are Change, or Steph WRC on X, and I'm here to push the buttons.
And talk and dominate the conversation, right, Stephanie?
We'll see.
All right, well, we'll see. We'll see what we could get out of Stephanie. As of course, there's so many different things to talk about. We're in the midst of what I think is one of the most craziest political seasons that I have ever been a part of, and I've been a part of a lot of them. I've been around since the good old boys, John Kerry versus George W. Bush presidential election. That was my first kind of election that I was really kind of paying attention to. I sort of remember the Gore and the Bush elections a little bit. There was a little bit of controversy there, but the biggest one was the kind of eighth cousins that were also a part of a secret society running up against each other, and they were, playing ball. This year, it seems like the ball is just absolutely all over the place. We're dealing with an absolutely crazy campaign season that's filled with McDonald's, that's filled with assassination attempts, as it looks like Donald Trump is clearing out the pathway here for a clear victory, as his poll numbers are showing that he has a 10-point lead now on Kamala in a major forecast poll. As of course, a lot of people are saying the dynamics have totally shifted, and now everyone expects Donald Trump to, of course, be the victor here. Is this something that you feel comfortable with? Because personally, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's a lot of different things at play here. The polls have been historically wrong. 2022, they said a big red wave's coming. It didn't. And 2020, they said Hillary Clinton was going to win it. She didn't. Now they're saying Donald Trump will win it. Will he? What do you guys think?
I mean, I hope so for Free Ross. I hope he wins, and I hope we Free Ross day one. But I mean, yeah, I think it's a toss-up. I don't think anybody's really great at predicting it. So, who knows? What do you guys think?
Well, supposedly the prediction markets are best when people are betting on it, because then they've actually got money on it. So if you compare regular, polls or whatever, that's not as effective. But when people are betting, and it shows from the betting side that people are putting their money on Donald Trump.
Yeah, no, the polls are crazy. We posted that today on our Twitter page, Conservative. But I've been in politics since I was a kid. My grandpa was a state senator, and so I was like paging at the Capitol at age 9.
Oh, wow.
And so I've kind of had my ear to the ground in the grassroots in terms of, the frat culture. I go to college. I'm a senior in college right now. And, being somebody who's in the grassroots and knows politics just a little bit, I got to say I'm very confident that he's going to win. I mean, it's in the air almost. And I've talked to a lot of the people that I admire the most within the ranks of the Trump campaign and the Trump world, and everybody's got the same feeling. The polling looks good, so we're very confident, but we also have to watch the elections, make sure there's no funny business.
Yeah, I think that's a big important part, because, they fortified it last time. And we even had Mark Zuckerberg specifically make specific announcements saying, I'm not going to get involved in this one, as James O'Keefe released a video of someone in Facebook saying, they absolutely are manipulating the algorithm to favor, of course, Kamala Harris. One institution that, of course, is very for Kamala Harris is the corporate media, and a lot of other very kind of powerful forces out there. And I think this is one reason why there were serious attempts on Donald Trump's life. As we also have other breaking news coming in today, highlighting how the Congressional House panel that's investigating Trump's assassination just came out with one of their interim reports highlighting how this event was, quote, preventable. Gee, you don't say so. Of course it was preventable. As the task force, quote, found, the incident was preventable, detailing in a report released early Monday that shows that communications and there was other shortcomings regarding the planning when it came to the kind of security that they set up there. It's a 53-page interim report, and the evidence that they obtained from the task force specifically shows that this should have never happened. My question is, why did it happen then, and who allowed it to happen? And I think that's a question that is still on the minds of many Americans, as we are still many months out from July 13th. We still don't have an official explanation. We still don't have the cell phone data. We still don't know exactly what's going on here. I'm sorry, but this is fishy, to say the least. What do you guys think?
I mean, you know me. I've thought this has been fishy from day one. So are you surprised that the government is investigating itself and aren't like finding a problem, with themselves? Like, it's ridiculous. I think it would be funny if we were like, wow, they really like nailed it and they got it. You know, they know what they're doing. So that's just my
But
usual.
the question is the incompetence purposeful and intentful or not? Is it really that they're just incompetent, or was there someone that was responsible to allow that incompetence?
Also, yes.
For a certain reason.
Yes and yes. I mean, they're incompetent, but I
Like,
think
we don't need a 53-page document to tell us that they didn't do their jobs.
but they're going to provide you with 1,500-page one so that you don't read it, so that you're like, oh, well, they said something. I mean, come on. The government provides us with the information that we need to know that they're incompetent, and nobody reads it. Hello, Afghan papers. Like, nobody cares when they come up with these things. Nobody reads it, and they're just incompetent. But also, they're evil, and we're still on the good side. So I'll just end my rant there. I'll save it for the more.
When I was on Timcast, we had Dr. Ron Paul on, and I asked him, are they evil or are they incompetent? And I asked it in a kind of long way, and Tim kind of made it a lot shorter and cleaner. And then Dr. Paul kind of looked at us and just said yes.
Yep.
To both of those
Yep.
things. And I think there's elements of that are clearly true here. Can you blame the attack on Trump on his life for just incompetence? No. I think something bigger is at play here, and that's why we still don't know exactly what happened here. What do you think, Preston? Because this is something that's been on my mind, and I think this is the key issue that has propelled Donald Trump so much further in the polls than almost any other issue, more than his McDonald stunt.
Yeah, no, I joined the military right after high school. Actually, before I graduated, I was off to basic training, and I can tell you this is incompetence, but it is also coordinated. I mean, these Secret Service guys, you should see the training they get. It's so extensive. And actually, my buddy, I've had a privilege to be able to put a bunch of my good conservative friends into the campaign. And I got a buddy of mine a job, doing field trip coordinating for the rallies, and his first trip was Butler. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, and so talk about a first day.
Trial by fire.
Yeah, and just the interviews that we saw and the way that things played out. I mean, the fact that someone was able to get, what was it, like 5 or 6 shots out before anyone was able to neutralize?
I think it was 8 shots in total.
It's nuts. And so, of course, something's happening. You've got a presidential candidate who represents, sort of the silent majority. He's, he's a Christ follower, and he wears that on his sleeves. And, of course, you've got the deep state coming after him because the deep state knows he's going to come after them.
Yeah. Tatiana, what do you think? Do you think there's like a conspiracy within a conspiracy here? Because to me, there's still so many questions left unanswered. And when the government is just dragging their feet, it allows the general public to come to their own conclusions. And if they didn't want conspiracy theories to grow, they would give us answers. They would be accountable. They would be transparent. They would actually have conversations with us like we were reasonable adults and not children. They haven't done any of that. And I think it does highlight a larger, bigger problem at hand here, because we saw kind of rumblings of the corporate media in the beginning kind of hinting at Iran, being like, Iran could be responsible here. I don't think they were the ones that made the Secret Service that incompetent that day.
Well, Trump himself is talking about Iran. And so that's why I feel like he's kind of disingenuous at times, because, does he really think it was Iran? I don't believe that he does. So I don't know why he's going behind that. I think it's very obvious that there's something funny going on, for a really long time. And I think that the expectation for the government to not lie to us is sort of stupid. Like, why would anyone think that the government isn't lying to us? They've been lying to us. That's the goal of the government. They lie to us, placate us, give us a little cookie and say, oh, I voted. Like, I went and I voted today. Whoop-de-doo. I don't even think that it's really legitimate, particularly in the first place. I think that the expectation is that they're cheating. They've been cheating. They're always cheating for at least, several decades now. And, so I don't really have very high expectations. I just want to know who's going, if he's actually going to keep us out of any wars. And I have my skepticism there, which I think is a little bit more important. Basically, the only thing that I can count on from him that I think is useful is A, staying the inevitable collapse, and B, potentially letting out Ross.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I don't trust this guy very far. You got to give him credit. He's been going up against the system, supposedly, but I don't think that you get to that point without a certain amount of buy-in from the system in the first place. So I think that there's a certain level of theater going on, and the problem that I see with Trump is that when he gets in, if there are encroachments on our civil liberties even further, everybody's just going to go along with it because he's Daddy Trump and, oh, he's on our side. He would just use the power wisely. And I think you have a relatively uneducated populace that can't wait to go back to sleep.
Yeah. I think you have to be careful with whoever you give power to, obviously, and you can't just give carte blanche. You have to be reasonable. That's what we try to do here on this independent media broadcast. But to be fair, I've never seen the system attack someone as brutally as they have attacked Donald Trump. So seeing every aspect of his life personally investigated, because originally I was kind of thinking along the same lines a few years ago about what you were kind of saying. For full transparency's sake, I did vote for Donald Trump in 2016. I voted for him in 2020, and I do plan on voting for him in 2024. And even when I did vote for him, I still kind of raised my skepticisms about him and some of his policies, because that's what I think we should be doing as reasonable people and not just, of course, worship any kind of human being. Now, to be fair to Trump here, he did make some kind of statement saying maybe Iran could be responsible here, but also he returned to Butler, Pennsylvania, did another event with Elon Musk. And at that event, he specifically made a direct comment saying and alluding that it was powerful forces behind the government that were responsible for trying to take his life as well. So you're seeing these two kind of different statements from Donald Trump, who does kind of, represent someone that the system really does hate. And to me, everything that they throw in at him, it's something that they would never throw at like a John Kerry or McCain or Romney. He doesn't play ball, and they play very rough with him, and that's what kind of got me to change my assessment on him personally. What do you think, Preston? Because there's some people, specifically even on the right wing, that are saying we're not going to vote for Donald Trump this year. There's a lot of people who are pro-life who are saying I'm not going to vote for him. Sure. A lot of DeSantis people, I'm not going to vote for him. I'm personally going to vote for him. But there is a kind of sort of rift, especially with some of the kind of groypers out there that are like, we got to stop people from voting for Trump.
Right. So first I want to touch on the fact that I think those reports and those memos, it's all noise, it's all theater. It's the same with the congressional investigation. Nothing ever ends up happening except our people go to jail. You see it with J6. I mean, there's so many people rotting away in there, and many of them are patriots. And so hopefully we get Trump in there and those people come out. But when it comes to Trump, when it comes to the rifts that you're seeing in some of the right-wing elements, those people will fundamentally come behind Trump. But it's an interesting thing. They definitely go after Trump like you've never seen before. I don't know why that is. I mean, like I said earlier, I think it's because he speaks up for the silent majority, but I think that far-right electorate and the pro-life electorate, they're going to come back behind him. They just have to let them know that we're not going to be screwed. You're not going to say bend over and take it, and then us not have a platform in the RNC anymore. There's going to be some pushback, and I think that's what you're saying.
Yeah. Very interestingly, pro-life Spider-Man was supposed to be on the show today. Sadly,
I love him.
He had to cancel.
Yeah.
But there was also, controversy with him. There was controversy with Kyle Rittenhouse as well. So there's a lot of controversy and a lot of people saying, step in line. And I understand both sides of the argument here that people are making here. But clearly, I think we have two choices. Of course. And I think the larger message that I think we should hone in on is that we shouldn't be reliant on everything changing November 5th, and we should be proactive in our own lives to become more independent of the state. I think that messaging, as well as saying, yeah, I'll support Trump, I think that's the important messaging that is needed now more than ever.
I also think a lot of us could come together by not demanding, but, saying that, why don't we see from the Trump campaign, embrace no more wars, because you've got the far right-wing elements, the libertarian elements, and hopefully the good people that are just within the Republican ranks who don't want war. We want to do everything we can to get in there, and Trump's done it before. He picks up the phone, he says, this is what's going to happen, I've got a picture of your house, and they'll back out of it. But we don't want to go to a war with Iran. I know that's the mood amongst the far right, and the mood amongst a lot of libertarians. Cassandra over at Timcast is that way. We don't want war. So maybe the social media influencers of today should start saying, Trump campaign, say you won't go to war. No new wars.
Yeah, I like that message, and I think that message could definitely galvanize a lot of the kind of undecided voters out there, or the people in the middle, or the people who, of course, are stirring up some controversy and problems. Yeah. Now's not the time, for, in my opinion, to do that. But Blue Anon has a very interesting theory. A lot of kind of leftist and liberals on Twitter are now kind of claiming that Israel is acting the way it is and not doing any kind of ceasefires and denying all of them because allegedly there's a secret deal made between Trump and Netanyahu that when Trump gets into office, automatically those wars will end and Trump will have a kind of larger kind of political victory. That's what the Blue Anon people are speculating. That's their larger kind of theory out there. But it is interesting to see Donald Trump say things like, Bibi will listen to me. And it's clear that he's not listening to Joe Biden at all, as the Biden administration has been very kind of flip-flopping on the issue of what's happening right now in the Middle East, especially with the humanitarian aid that a lot of people are demanding gets in there, and sadly hasn't been getting in there. Right. So that's another major issue.
It's funny how we're funding the humanitarian aid and the bombing. It's just like, why don't we just light all of our money on fire? But in the meantime,
rebuilding
North
Lebanon.
Carolina.
Yeah. And we're paying for the missiles, and the missiles are dropping in Lebanon, and then we're giving Lebanon money to recover from the missiles.
Yes.
So
yeah.
There's
but
that.
that's what we do. That's what we do in general. But I just wanted to say thank you for reminding me that Biden is still currently the president. I had forgotten that. I feel like you just mentioned, I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. I haven't heard from that guy in a while. And has anyone else?
There was a funny skit I played in the beginning of my main video today on my YouTube channel where an old guy is just wheeled in, and it's Biden at McDonald's, and he's talking about his hairy legs, and I'm like, he could never pull something off like that, like Donald Trump's kind of larger PR stunt that everyone is talking about right now, including Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
He is pretty likable.
I mean, MSNBC absolutely freaked out, and again, their kind of bizarre reaction, the reaction from the corporate media against Donald Trump, solidifies him in my mind. Yeah. And then let's play a segment of MSNBC with their reaction to this kind of McDonald's. I would say a brilliant PR stunt. I want to get everyone's kind of comments about what they thought about this in just a little bit, but this is MSNBC's response to it.
If you're on his campaign, and I know you are certainly not, I'm not making any implication of that, but what is the logic behind this, going to a McDonald's? I mean, we know the guy likes Big Macs and filet of fish, and he's used the word love to describe the way he feels about the food there before. But what's this about?
There's no logic to it. It's a stunt. He has not put forth an economic agenda. He, as you know, appears to be not well, and he's engaged in some really bizarre types of activities during this campaign.
You're not paying attention. You're not doing your job, you freaking dimwit. He announced he's doing this because Kamala said that she previously was flipping fries and burgers at McDonald's. That's why he's doing this stunt. It's not just something that came out of completely nowhere. And I think he's coming off very personable. I think he's highlighting that he is a lot more capable than, of course, Joe Biden, who would never be able to pull something off like this. He looked of sound mind and physical health. I don't know what MSNBC is on, but they definitely seem to be, of course, extrapolating a lot of nonsense here and just literally making it up as they go along. Here's more from the clip.
So this is just another one of those stunts that he will continue on through the campaign. And I think that we need to really focus on making sure that he is not elected, of course, because he is a threat to our democracy, but also...
Oh, where have I heard that one before? Oh, wow. Such an original line there. Oh, wow.
From the crew who, made sure to not allow any votes for the person currently running on the Democrat ticket. I mean, yeah, totally.
Yeah. The ones that staged a coup against Joe Biden. Yeah, totally.
Who didn't let RFK run as a Democrat because,
Who made sure there was no primaries and there was just a Game of Thrones style ouster of old King Lannister. But anyway, there's still more to
You're
this.
torturing us, Luke.
There's
You're torturing us.
There's more.
Oh, God.
The Harris loss agenda is about the economy, reducing the cost of living, reducing the cost of prescription drugs, reducing the cost of housing, and making life better for everyone. And that's what we have to focus on and make sure we get every voter to the polls and make sure that the voters vote for the future, not taking the country backwards, as you see what Donald Trump continues to try to do. So I'm urging and encouraging everyone to get to the polls and vote for Kamala Harris and Tim Walz to be their next president and vice president.
Tell me you're not equipped for the job without telling me you're not equipped for the job. Absolutely ridiculous news coverage of this event, which clearly was a larger jab at Kamala, saying that she previously worked at McDonald's. Again, absolutely crazy commentary from crazy people that have no sense of reality at all.
You mean Kamala worked at McDonald's? Because McDonald's said...
Was there a manager there that she had a relationship with?
Oh, man, that was brutal. McDonald's Corporation said that they have no record of Kamala working there. And so I love that everybody's like, Trump is going there and how terrible that he's going there. And it's like, well, he's doing the things Kamala won't actually do it.
Their PR release was actually beautiful. I mean, it was like so nicely diplomatic, but it said, we have no record of her being here and that we like to have Trump here. And it was beautiful.
AOC had a very interesting response to this. Cenk Uygur, who also is a kind of Kamala supporter, came out and said, some in the press called Trump's McDonald's photo op bizarre. This is how you lose credibility. That was a home run photo op. He looked like a real person there connecting with the average American. If you can't see that, you're totally blind. So Cenk Uygur finally seeing the light. Yeah, wow. Who would have thought?
Christmas miracle.
Absolutely.
Well, how does this go with his Make America Healthy Again, though? Because, I mean, McDonald's is really, really bad for you. I know he loves it. There's something very Americana
That's
about...
RFK's
That's RFK's
gig. That's
but
not Trump's.
He's taking credit for it, is what I find. Like, a lot of the people think that Trump has adopted the Make America Healthy Again motto, and he's happy to take credit.
Healthy, not himself. Yeah,
I guess not, but it's a little incongruent.
He's gonna have his Cokes. He's gonna have his McDonald's. He's not gonna stop. Listen, at this age, like.
You're stuck in your old ways.
Yeah, what's the point? Yeah. Why would he?
Yeah, the older you get, the more you have kind of habitual habits that you never strain from. There's a reason older people never learn how to play a new instrument or learn how to do new things. So the Trump we're getting is the same old Trump. A lot of people are expecting a different Trump. It's going to be the same Trump. He's up there in age, and he's going to stick to his guns. And, sadly, he loves his Diet Coke and he loves his McDonald's. Something that I'm, pointed out is filled with a lot of really horrible chemicals that are not really good for you. I posted brilliant, PR stunt. I thought it was a very smart move by Donald Trump to do this kind of larger McDonald's move. And then my comment underneath it was, but what about the seed oils, though? And if Trump really wanted a home run, in my opinion, and again, we can nitpick here all we want, but he would have replaced that canola oil with beef tallow like McDonald's used to have. And he would have not only started a serious conversation, but of course won over a lot of the Make America Healthy Again crowd.
Wow, that would have been a great game plan. That's actually pretty brilliant. He should have been like, I'm going to make these fries, but hold up. First, we're changing the oil.
Yes. I don't think McDonald's would be okay with that. I think McDonald's would be like...
Maybe they made him sign something beforehand. Like, you can come over and do your PR stunt, but...
No, absolutely. He reached out to McDonald's and said, hey, I want to do this. And McDonald's, of course, approved. So
the food stuff's important, but it never ceases to amaze me that those legacy media outlets will report on that and totally separate their minds from what Kamala is, which is this DEI hire who can't speak on her record. She can't speak on her life.
DEI is being polite.
Exactly. I know. I have to be PC. But
just saying.
she gets in there. She goes on. You saw the Brett Baer interview and stuff like that. It's just like this lady can't articulate sentences, and she's not dealing with the senile problems that Biden's dealing with, and we just let it fly. I mean, even as a strong conservative on the right, it's like, I've got leftist friends. I'm like, are you guys, I mean, is this okay? What kind of state are we in here?
Yeah, and Kamala's running around with Doritos. Be like, oh, I love Doritos. And she's doing very unnatural, very weird photo op. You compare her Dorito photo op to Trump's McDonald's photo op, completely different
Is that
people.
What it's going to be from this point going forward, is the pandering fest of Megan Thee Stallion at your rallies, Doritos, you have Gretchen Whitmer doing, defaming the Catholic religion with her, Eucharist, which is, I think it was also a Dorito that she was given. I mean, are we going to allow this kind of ideology to continue to fester through the country? There's got to be the middle ground, the moderates, the libertarians, the right wing, the far right wing. We've got to come together and coalesce and say, all right, can we have a better standard? Can we make our candidates articulate better for themselves and not just be panders?
Yeah, I agree.
But like, we haven't had a choice of these candidates in a long time, right? I mean, like, what other candidates were so great in the past?
Yeah.
They were all trash. So
I mean, Ron Paul.
Yeah, but
I
Ron
mean, Gary
Paul was
Johnson
the
was pretty
outside.
good.
Dennis
We're talking
Kucinich.
about
Dennis
actual
Kucinich was
candidates
good.
that are
whatever.
allowed to be in the thing. We're not talking about our dream candidates. Obviously, Ron Paul would be a much better option. I love Dennis Kucinich, but those are not real people that are actually up for the job. You know,
Even in forms of like their way of vernacular. I mean, let's just separate the politics. Kennedy. I mean, just the way he talked just was able to unite an entire country behind him, regardless of the political substance. And so can we not just demand that our candidates will come to the table on both sides and be able to articulate themselves? I mean, it's not difficult. I'm 22 years old. I read books if I feel like I sound like an idiot on something. Is that too much to ask from the people who want
Yes.
to run our countries?
Yes,
Too much.
absolutely.
We need idiocracy, gladiator like fighting, which is going to happen in the 2028 presidential elections.
Interesting.
Probably guaranteed. Sponsored by, of course, some kind of food dye sugar drink that everyone will be forced to drink in their Crocs.
God, I hope
think
not.
that's the future.
I hope not. I hope we would like finally wake up and like, come on, guys, we've been at this for a while. Like, where are all my libertarian people that are like, the government sucks? And
they're arguing internally over like little tiny small things because they all want to be king of Little Shit Mountain. That's how it is.
Poop Mountain. Family friendly show here. We got little kids watching.
do we? I'm sorry,
we do.
children.
We
I'm
do.
sorry.
Be nice to the children out there. As, of course, the queen of staged photo ops, AOC, came out and had this to say about Trump's McDonald's photo op, which I thought was interesting.
Donald Trump putting on a little McDonald's costume because he thinks that's what people do. They're not trying to empathize with us. They are making fun of us. They are making fun of us. Donald Trump thinks that people who work at McDonald's are a joke. Elon Musk thinks that dangling money in front of a working person is a cute thing to do when the election of our lives is before us.
The election of our lives.
Because that's what people and billionaires like that do.
Yeah.
Remember when she cried in front of a fence in a parking lot? Oh my God, AOC, your opinion. You're just so dramatic and I love it. Save that energy for some actual thing that you could do. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Thanks.
we have the photo pulled up here,
Yep.
of course.
Oh, one of my favorite stunts. You know, I haven't heard her on the children anymore. Like, she was so concerned. And then for the last 4 years, she's just been silent.
Yeah, when the processing really hasn't changed.
No,
of
not
the
at all.
children.
No.
And for some reason, well, it's totally okay now. Totally cool.
500,000 kids have been separated from their families at the border and are possibly, potentially, hopefully not being trafficked. But, you know, she stopped crying because now it's her team that's doing it instead of the other team. So
Yeah, plus the Biden open border policies have created more child and human trafficking
Absolutely.
in absolute record numbers. And where's the photo op, AOC? We're with you crying about that. As sadly, the open border policies have led to a lot of criminals taking advantage of a lot of these people that sadly have been usually abused, taken advantage of, and then they're brought to the United States and told by the Democrats to work in the Tyson meat packing factories. So yeah, that's the future. That of
Do
course
you think she
they
went to
depend
the
on.
Diddy parties?
AOC?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like she would be invited.
You
All the
think
white
so?
clothes in that picture. I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably.
That's where she went
Ooh.
right after that. She took some of those kids from the border and she brought them right over to Diddy.
special delivery. Oh, God. We're going straight to hell.
Yes, it'll be more than just a Happy Meal served there.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Also, a lot of children there. I literally was talking about, my main video was just about the diddler and all the crazy developments surrounding that case as new people have come forward. We'll talk about it probably in about 30 minutes from now when we go over to a more freer platform.
My favorite time.
Mine too, absolutely. Yep.
As of course, McDonald's, by the way, has internal memos that highlight how, for some reason, Kamala Harris's employment records at McDonald's are missing. They're not existent, as their staff is told to, of course, not tell anyone. And it's being revealed, Kamala Harris probably lied once again on the campaign trail and didn't work at McDonald's like she previously claimed. That's the reason behind this whole PR stunt, which, again, brilliant PR stunt. Newsweek, I'm scrolling through Twitter as we do this live show. I just tweeted at Luke on my Twitter account at Luke We Are Change. Oh my God, this is real. Newsweek. This is a legitimate Newsweek article that reads, rumor has been circulating on social media that former President Donald Trump's visit to the popular fast food chain was staged. Yeah. No-ish, Sherlock. Are you kidding? Of course it was staged. What do you think? He walked into a random McDonald's and then just took the apron from somebody?
It's been precedent for as long as political theater goes back that on both sides of the aisle, you send an advance team in, you find the grandmas and everything, and that's what you do. And so when they clear McDonald's out after a president was just shot, they act like, oh my God, why did they weren't letting people just freely walk in there? I mean, these people are morons.
The man almost got killed multiple times now. I mean,
either way, a president doesn't walk into a McDonald's and just put on an apron. Like, it's obviously, you can call it staged, you can call it a stunt. It's a campaign. It's like a PR campaign. It's like some sort of it's normal. It's not they just don't have anything else to say bad about it. And this is what we're getting. That is what it is. And honestly, if you guys look back, this is not the first time former President Trump has done things like this. If you go and look at his own businesses that he owns, his hotels and stuff, he has done those jobs. There are like different kind of stunts, whatever you want to call it, days where he'll go and he'll work the average American job and he'll show people like, I want to be part of my business. I want to see the hard work you do. And he does it. You can see him walking dogs. You can see him cleaning bathrooms. You can see him vacuuming hotel rooms all in one day. He does it.
I want to say that I go pretty often to the Trump National here in Doral in Miami. And, for a long time, I've asked his staff, like, does he come here? Does he talk? And everybody has only nice things to say. I've been to Trump properties kind of around the world, but, they're always like saying the nicest things about him. Unlike Luke, this is going to be my first time voting for Trump. So I am not like on the Trump team. I'm voting Trump because he's going to free Ross. He's going to free the J6ers. Like this is the best option for me right now, but I am not on the Trump team. And, when I talked to his staff was before I was on his Trump team and they're like, he's a really nice guy and he really cares. So, I mean, I want to believe he's legit in that sense.
Is he going to free the J6ers? Because he had a chance before, and now they've just been rotting for 4 years.
When did he have a chance?
I don't think he had a chance.
Wasn't he able to at that point?
No. He was already out of office.
There was no charges pressed. He was out of office. They kicked him out, and he had no ability to do anything.
Oh,
they took away his Twitter account. like J6 happened, and social media blocked him everywhere.
Yep.
There was an internal fight with Mike Pence, and of course he left office, and there was no charges, so he had no one to pardon.
And he said at the Libertarian Conference that he would pardon the political prisoners, including Ross and the J6ers. So, that's the other reason why I think he's legit, because he's finally being like, what's happening to him is what we see in Latin America, which is the regime goes after any candidate that they, clearly don't want. And that's kind of my reasoning behind, okay, I'm on the Trump team. If the regime does not like Trump, I am on the Trump team.
I like him more.
Have you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm here just like, we're friendly now, but after this, I think I'm not voting ever again.
Well,
I think I'm done.
At the end of the day, if a vote not for Trump is a vote for Kamala, and a vote not for Kamala is a vote for Trump.
Oh my God, how many times have I heard this?
I don't know if anyone has said this before, but I'm just saying,
it's the election math. It's like, if you don't vote for so-and-so, it's because you're like, no, I'm voting for the Libertarian because I don't believe in either of these people. But this time around, I'm hoping
either way, one of them's going to get it. So you might as well have a say in it.
Well, but that's the thing. In Florida, it's generally red anyway. So my vote really didn't count either which way. So, I worked on the Jo Jorgensen campaign. Like, I believed in her. And I believed in Gary Johnson, and I've voted Libertarian since 2000 and something. Like 2004, yeah.
Yeah, just be grounded in reality. Like if voting for a libertarian what is that going to do right now for any of us?
It's a protest vote. It tells the establishment, I don't care who they put up there. I believe in these things, which apparently now the right is on the no war thing.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. It's about time because y'all have been like the war hawks.
Can I just note there, it's the young right, because we're the ones with the futures at stake. We're saying that. And look, I don't have a problem with her objections on saying that she wants to vote libertarian as a protest. I think that's the way more people should be. Any fault of your Democrat candidate or your Republican candidate is ultimately on you for not keeping them in check as an electorate.
Are we getting along here? Is that what's happening? Oh my God. This is great.
Yeah. Enjoying it.
Cool. Yeah, I like this. See? Libertarians, we can get along with Republicans. It works. What do you say, Tatiana?
I don't know, man. I'm like an anarchist. I feel like, voting this, voting that. I'm so over it. I just want it to be over and so we can move forward. I would really like to see some peace in the Middle East. Yeah. And I'd like to see some peace in the Ukraine and Russia situation before it spills over into Poland. And I'm very skeptical that we're going to see that. So until I do, I'd like to be pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of things that I like about Daddy Trump. But at the end of the day, like, I'm not buying anything. I've been here for too long to actually really believe a lot of things. But I think that that's really a symptom of, post-COVID era. At this point, like, aliens would land tomorrow. I'd be like, oh, whatever. It's probably not even real. I just don't believe in anything anymore.
But in that point, then you might as well just go and do, like, your hobbies and have a good time and don't even think about this kind of stuff, because what's the point of even
I do agree. I think that's actually a good pursuit.
Pay attention to your local politics. That's really the people that have the power. Like, to me, it's always been it's bread and circus, guys. They have us, look over here, and you completely have no idea what's happening locally, which is where they're really robbing you and doing all these horrible things. But I just wanted to correct you. I'm sorry. It's Daddy DeSantis. It's not Daddy Trump. Okay? Okay.
DeSantis isn't my daddy.
No.
If I'm going to have a daddy, it's definitely going to be Trump.
I sympathize with your position as well, because it's like the American public shouldn't have to live in a constant state of, well, who's saying what on TV and what do I have to decide when it comes to the polls in November? We've been in that state of mind since January, and that's no healthy way to live. I mean, you guys are the health people, right? And so I assume that means mental health, and it's not mentally healthy. And so, no, I completely agree with that. Yeah. We need to get back to a point where we have vetted candidates that are vetted by the American people and not foreign lobbies and whatnot.
So we need to end the party system, because the party system is what got us here. And that, like, as a libertarian, I can tell you it's really hard to get a candidate on the ballot in all 50 states. It's almost impossible. RFK didn't do it.
Where's the
Kanye West
incentive
couldn't
for
do
that?
it.
The point where we'll start to diverge, I think, me with everyone else in the room, is I believe we should be a theocratic Christian monarchy.
Oh, God.
I know,
okay.
yeah.
And there's where we diverge.
Right, I knew it. But, that sets us up
I'm
to
interested.
have...
What does that mean to you? How would that be different?
So that sets us up in a position where the values that are at the dead center of Christianity as a whole, and that's Christendom, Catholic Church, Protestant Church, those values are
so
placed
no
at,
space for Muslims or Buddhists or any other religion.
Well, if you read the Bible, it clearly says people are allowed to do what they want. There's free will. We don't mind them being here, but we want our country to be based in those Christian values that made our country what it was so great.
Do we want that? Because I'm pretty sure the founding fathers were not about.
I'll take that at this point. I'll take some Jesus.
Yes, there you go. I like that.
I like some.
It's a big misconception that there was
better than Satan and all their Baphomet people or whatever.
There's a big misconception that there was separation of church and state. There was a letter where that was put in. It was never put into the Constitution. There's clauses, things like that, where people try to take the leap. But the Christian values is how we got to be so good. I mean, look at Western civilization as it used to be. The Roman Empire, the British Empire. I talk about imperialism all you want, but we ultimately built something that is unlike any other. And that system is being eroded today, and you're seeing that they're targeting, clearly, the Christian folks and the white founding stock folks who built the country, and I say that as a brown person who, my dad immigrated here from Colombia. They're clearly targeting those things, and then as they do it, our system degrades. So is there not a link there, right, that we can make the connection?
Your
Christians
parents
are
are
very
from Colombia?
persecuted.
My dad immigrated from Colombia.
Do you speak Spanish?
A little bit.
Awesome.
Enough to get around in a Spanish-speaking.
So now you know what's happening in Colombia, and they're going towards socialism.
Petro,
and,
yeah.
And
I know.
so as the other Latina here on the we know what socialism is like. We had to leave it,
Yep.
and then does it bother you that Americans are going in the direction of socialism?
Yeah, but I think, once again, it's just noise. I mean, I look at folks like AOC, and while I just detest a lot of what she stands for, I do have to admire the fact that she does stand for something, and she does have convictions, and you can tell that much at least because she was able to really identify and invigorate a young demographic throughout the
Really
country,
young.
not even just in her district, and energize them better than whoever the leftist, losers like Pete Buttigieg or whoever. Those people don't really do anything. But AOC, she energized people, and there's got to be something there to be said.
But isn't she energizing? Like, I think
The
I've
wrong
thought
stuff,
more
yeah.
than once about Clint's comment about how women shouldn't vote, right? And
Oh,
and there's something to be said for the fact that we basically have a bunch of dummies casting a vote and people who are completely uneducated on all the different things that they're voting for. I went into the booth today. I took some time. I looked at the Libertarian Party of Florida has a guide that kind of explains a lot of the different positions.
Which I totally disagree with on their positions, but
Well,
whatever.
The point is that I took some time and there were things that I didn't even know about, and I consider myself to be a relatively politically up to date kind of voter, right? But we do have AOC energizing everybody. But into what, right? Like, I don't think that they're really being led down a very good path. Like, okay, I want to see more Ron Pauls out there that are inspiring people on liberty. I was disappointed to see that Dave Smith didn't run. Nobody's perfect, but I do like how he gets a lot of people engaged. Whereas AOC, she just seems a little bit like a crybaby, and I'm not really sure what value she's adding to the political discourse. Like, she doesn't seem
I think she
intelligent
adds
to
more
me.
value than Chuck Schumer and Nancy
Oh, well,
Pelosi.
that's not a very high
I know,
bar.
I know, but it is something, and it does have to be acknowledged. But yeah, I mean, we just don't have any energy in politics today. It seems like it's all being sucked out by the military-industrial complex. I mean, a statement you just said a second ago, if you said it in D.C., you'd be blackballed, which was, we don't want any more war in the Middle East. And if you say that, Ben Shapiro will call you an anti-Semite, and it goes down the rabbit hole. We don't want any more
How crazy
war.
is that?
Damn,
we
I
don't
hate
want
him.
to use our tax dollars to murder people. Oh, that's such a horrible statement. How could you possibly say that? I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And these are the same people who are like, abortion is bad. I agree with you. How about we don't kill the kids that are already born?
Well, and I'd like to go back on Tim Pool because we had a debate about that. And I don't think my side of the argument was able to get completely expressed as much. So I'd like to go back to it.
What was your argument that you had with him? I forgot.
So-
I remember there was something.
They brought me on, the Jewish guy, right as October 7th happened. And I have a different perspective than a lot of Jewish people. And I get backlash for that, but it's fine, which was, I think Israel knew about the attack before it took place, and now we've seen all the evidence come back. And I was saying that right as it happened. And he said, you have no proof, you blah, blah, blah. And I could barely get in a word, so I'd love to go back and kind of re-talk over that. But just go back a little.
You mean to say nanny nanny boo boo? I was right and you were okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
And I'm not that kind of guy, but in a sense, I should be able to go back and say, well, you were wrong, and you're talking to all these people, so it's very important to listen to the small guy sometimes. And if we can go back real quick to the comment you made about women voting. Well, you've seen the statistics that say if women didn't vote, the country would be like majority Republican.
Well,
And
I can
so
say about that.
I'm
that's
just asking. I'm just
But
giving you that. I'm not saying anything.
we've also been propagandized. I'm just saying that there's a lot of uneducated voters more
Sure.
broadly, and there's something to be said about, well, how do you make sure that people who don't know what the hell they're talking about, like, where is the balance with that? And I think we're a little bit out of touch with that at
Well,
this point.
Latinos too. Latinos overwhelmingly vote for the Democratic political party
Speaking
as well.
of which, we were just at our event that we had down
FIU,
the road.
right?
FIU.
That was with Alex Stein, Laura Loomer, and
Ryan Fournier.
Ryan
Yeah.
Fournier.
And so-
how did it go? How was the event?
It was amazing. Alex really nailed it at the end. We had a journalist come in who was a total leftist loser. He was talking about, he asked a question during the Q&A, and it was like, well, just so you know, I'm going to be putting this in our journal that, the use of slurs was used at this event. And we said, well, what was the slur? and they said tranny apparently is a slur. And anyway,
YouTube hates that word too, by the way.
Yeah,
We're
so-
talking about cars, by the way.
So it was a totally great event. We go outside, and of course, Alex Stein gets to doing what he does best, which is trolling folks. And he goes throughout the entire crowd, and there's all these white feminists out there, and he's talking to them. Who are you voting for? Kamala, Kamala, Kamala. And then we run into this beautiful Latin grandma. And he says, who are you voting for? And she says, Trump, I'm from Cuba. I hate socialism. I hate communism. We're
My
going to
people.
fight. I know. And so it was just so beautiful to see. And that is actually not as a tiny of a demographic as at least my entire family is staunch Trump because they see what's going on
Are you
in
kidding me?
Colombia.
Cubans in Miami are like Trump all the way. I miss. My dog ran away today, and I was walking my block. And one of the things I'm like desperate trying to find my dog, but it's like Trump sign, Trump sign, Trump sign, Trump, go Trump. Like it's everywhere, and I love living in Miami for that. I think we're like really, we're getting it. I think.
Yeah, there's a Trump caravan in Little Havana yesterday that I got invited to. I couldn't go because I had to work. But there's a bunch of people riding around all of Miami with their Trump flags and their trucks, and they're doing a little
We
kind
need
of
Trump
motorcade.
to say something about what's happening in Cuba right now, because Cuba has been for the past few days in a complete blackout.
Yeah.
And I think it was yesterday the quote president, the dictator of Cuba, the Canel, said that it was America's fault that their electric grid fell apart. And so they have, mind you, this grid is the same grid that was there when Fidel Castro came into power in 1959. So it was old then, it's old now, and apparently it's America's fault. So Trump, bro, you can win over so many more people. Come on, come in and say that you're going to free Cuba after this.
Need to get some Starlink over there.
Yeah, for sure.
Communists love to force people to work, but they don't really get good work done for some strange reason. Steph, we have a bunch of super chats. Let's read them off really quick.
Okay, well, back to the conversation of McDonald's. We have Kira saying, you're both... Oh, sorry.
Read them from the start. Read that one last.
Kira saying,
Read that one
there's
last.
something special about hearing them say he's a threat to democracy while he's flipping patties. We have Rekka13 saying, please provide me with some rage tonight as I'm listening to you instead of Viking metal at the gym.
Woohoo.
As a previous fatty, I declare we need less fat prickery. There's no time for fatness.
That's right. We got to address the fats and deal with them.
Yeah, we have Switzerland Play It saying, make love, not war. I think I said it to Sophia, but she does not want to make either with me.
We're rooting for you, Switzerland Play. One day, you and Sophia will be together, hopefully.
She sounds like a wise lady. We got Little Drinky Poo saying, with Dems bringing up Project 2025, saying how dangerous it is, why don't Republicans bring up and judge in 2030 and point out the dangers of us losing our national autonomy?
Good point.
Yeah, that's actually... Why aren't we? Cain Abel says, Kamala never worked at McDonald's. She was a streetwalker. How do you think she got her job in politics?
Damn. That hurt.
And then we have one more from Kyra saying, you're both wrong. It's Daddy Elon.
I don't know about that. I don't know. And by the way, I don't, it's not that I think he's Daddy
You can see
DeSantis.
we're filled with hope and optimism on this show. You can see we're reinvigorated and have a lot of hope for the future. Sorry, go ahead.
Boy.
But Elon's the one that was talking about the voting and why the young women are all going to vote Democrat because of the abortion. Like their whole
It's
thing.
like all they care about.
I'm
It's like,
sorry,
how
but
many
that's-
babies can we kill? I
Yes.
need to kill them
Well,
all because
so
I can't use a
Also,
condom.
it's no longer a federal issue. It's so stupid to
Right.
make that the point when it's now a state's issue. In Florida, we have an amendment on it. If you want abortion, come vote for it. Vote for Amendment 4, and there you go.
So
Like,
the
stop.
education isn't there, and all of these people, like, it's interesting, Preston, your point of view, because you say you're still in college, so you're like around like the younger generations of today.
Right.
And so like I remember being on college campuses and seeing like the abortion protests, and then they put all the pictures there, and you're looking and you're like, wow, this is gross. And it makes you think, because you're like, wow, I have to look at this, like, going to class, and there's like pictures of fetuses and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
But they indoctrinate you. What he's saying, Elon was just saying, it's like, it's a fear that they put in young women about actually like having children and having a family and like making babies, and like,
Which is wild to me as a mother of 4. It's like the best thing I've ever done in my life is to have children and to raise them and to watch them grow into full adults. And it's an amazing thing. And they're telling you that this is wrong and evil and don't do it. And, oh, by the way, go murder your babies. I know, it's wild.
I remember, because we had a private conversation about this, and I actually tell other people that I know about the conversation we had, which I think is an important one. You know, I don't know if you want to get into it, but I specifically asked you if you could go back and do it all over again. Would you, prefer to have the children or not to have the children? And then you overwhelmingly gave a very interesting response.
Yeah, and motherhood itself is at the heart of Christianity with obviously Mother Mary, and it's such a profoundly deep thing to just grow a baby in your stomach and to have it and to take care of it.
It's more than that. We literally have a portal where this entire human being with a whole soul, like, where did that come from? Where did that soul come in? And this. It's an amazing thing. I don't know.
It is, but it's also an experience. You can't read and know what it is. You have to do it. So if people in society are not having these experiences, and then they end up questioning their identity, and then they end up becoming another sexuality, and then they never have that experience, it's like breeding an offshoot that therefore can't connect with what these Christian core values are about.
More than that, I think motherhood teaches you to be in service to another person. Because honestly, I was 21 when I had my son, and the world revolved around me up until that point. The moment he was born, that was my center focus. That was my everything. If he was good, I was good. And so it teaches you something that you can't get otherwise. I mean, I've had pets my whole life, and everybody's like, my pet is my child. No, not really. Because the moment your child is born, you're like, your pet. I mean, I still love my pets, of course, but it's never going to be the same. And so I absolutely hate that messaging on abortion. As a libertarian, I think that the government shouldn't be able to control what we do with our bodies, but also abortion is evil, it's wrong, and
murder.
Yeah, absolutely. And I hope that people will stop having abortions, not because the government says that they shouldn't, but because it's just amazing to have life and to, struggle a little bit sometimes, but it's a beautiful experience.
Weird thing is, on college campus, like, I go to a southern school in rural Georgia, and you've got folks that are raised in Christian households from conservative families, girls, I mean, and they get to college, and I'm hearing them in, like, the Christian circles that I operate in, and they're sitting there talking about, well, actually, we do want them to keep their hands off our choice and whatnot. And I'm just like, what would your mom and dad think of you saying that? I know some of these people, individually, I know they wouldn't, stand for that, and I know you weren't raised like that. And so you're absolutely right. It's this gurge stuff that they're consuming in the media that just... I don't know.
Well, you go off to college, and then your parents are no longer there to guide you, and then you feel like you're free, and you try all these things, and then you get indoctrinated by the people that are there and the thoughts and the teachers.
Goes back to lack of Christian
They also
values.
say that a lot of the teachers in universities are highly democratic, which also then influences all the students that's at that university.
Yeah, at our school specifically, they have a club for the occult. And the founder or the president of it at our school has a satanic altar at home with animal skulls and blood that she does curses on our campus with. And so naturally, I go to our, I'm a Messianic Jew, but I still believe in the power of a priest being able to perform exorcisms and whatnot. So I went to our Catholic priest and I said, can we go do like a procession through the school where we bless against this stuff? And then down in Atlanta, coming up this week, actually, they're doing a black mass in downtown Atlanta where they take a consecrated host, which is the Eucharist according to Catholics. It's Jesus Christ's body. And they're going to do a black mass and offer it, I guess, down to Satan.
Oh.
And it's just sick. This is perverted filth, and we have to stand up against it. And every issue we've been talking on this show about so far goes back to the lack of Christian tenets within our society today that is causing that erosion that we're all complaining about.
Like, it's just morals. I think it's just a matter of, like, your morals. You don't have to necessarily be religious to know what's right and what's wrong.
The thing is, like, look at your folks in the Middle East. They clearly don't have the same morals as us, so it's not just human-wide.
Do they not necessarily? I mean, a lot of the people who are just living their daily lives, I think, have a lot of these values. I don't think that saying, you know what, the people in our government, the people who represent us, have those same values of evil and dropping bombs and murdering and trafficking children. So I think it's terrible to say that a whole group of people are what a few terrorists are.
And I don't think they are all terrorists, but I don't take either side of the issue because and he knows I'm a very much firm believer in the idea of America first. I don't really give a crap what people are doing over there. Monroe Doctrine, keep the Western Hemisphere nice, we'll be fine over here. But in terms of what you're talking about, you're right. Those people are good people, but in some of those countries, they should be, I mean, I'm not going to say it because we're on YouTube, but they should be holding their leaders accountable in very dramatic ways.
We can't hold our leaders accountable here in America.
I know.
How the heck are people in those countries going to hold their leaders? I love when Americans say that, though, because it's always like, we can't vote our way out of the situation we're in.
You're right.
We can't hold our people accountable. And we're America. Like, imagine everywhere else. I think it's very unfair to those people.
Yeah.
I still have so many things to say, specifically about reproductive rights. We still have a lot to say about Elon and Diddy. We'll get into that in a little bit. Before we do, we want to tell you about Land of Biltong. Anton's Biltong, and he's doing a really kind of interesting kind of contest. I love this product. It's a great product. Our guests usually love this product as well. This is a really good, healthy stuff that I really like. I think you would like it too. Check out landofbiltong.com, promo code WRC for free shipping. And I talked to Anton over the weekend, and he's doing a really interesting contest. He says, "Have you ever considered a high-protein diet but have not gotten around to it? Here's your opportunity. Anton's Land of Biltong will be doing a draw of 3 prizes, with the first prize of $600 worth of our Biltong products of your choice. To qualify for the draw, you need to buy 2 pounds of biltong over a 4-week period and add it to your diet. Post a picture of your weight on day 1 and again on day 28 and tag your pages. Anton's Land of Biltong on Facebook, Instagram, X, Twitter. Anton's Land of Biltong will do a random draw of all entries and announce the prizes on social media on We Are Change. The goal is to help motivate you to embrace a healthier lifestyle. Use code FIT24 for 10% off, and also it auto-enrolls you on landofbiltong.com. The last day of the entry concludes before Christmas. Will be November 26th. Follow King of Biltong on social media for updates. Anton will start his high-protein journey on Wednesday, October 23rd. So that should be an interesting journey, as he got an idea from someone that decided to eat hundreds of eggs in one single month. He was like, hey, his cholesterol went down. There's something that's not, of course, right here with our diet. As, of course, a lot of people say that they thrive off a carnivore diet. And if you have a carnivore diet, check out, again, Land of Biltong. They're one of our sponsors, and they do a lot of great work supporting a lot of independent media. So shouts out to them for being a part of this kind of independent media broadcast and their new kind of recent kind of, what do you call this, contest that they're doing. It'll be interesting to see all the people who go carnivore and then what personally happens to them. So, yeah. All right. We still got a lot more to talk about. We're going to talk about it on another platform where we get to talk about it freely. Yes. I know, Preston, you're excited about this. Before moving over and getting off of these technocratic gulag states, where can people find out more information about you?
Instagram, the Press and Para. My Twitter was hacked. My ex account was hacked, so I'm trying to get that back, but I'm there. Basically just Instagram.
Awesome.
So.
Martha?
You can find me on X and Instagram at Bueno for Miami.
Tatiana?
Queen Tatiana on Twitter, and then Tatiana Moroz Music on all other things, and go to thecounterparty.com and join us all January 25th to the 26th here in Miami.
This is Steph We Are Change. You can find me on X at Steph WRC.
All right. Atlas is excited about the transfer. Is the dog door open, Steph, or did you close it?
I opened it.
It's usually when she has to use the restroom. We're on the front page of this platform. You could go and see the rest of the conversation continued for yet another hour on thebestpoliticalshow.com. I think we already have a caller from a member of lookunfiltered.com, but you could be tomorrow's caller just by signing up to lookunfiltered.com. All right, we're going to now officially leave. We have a nice video that, of course, don't give her attention when she barks. Don't pet her.
I'm telling her no.
She's riled up about something that